Camera settings. What's up? So, so you know what? Sorry, my camera's in a different place today because I don't feel like setting it up. And I'm in school, guys, so don't freaking harsh me, buddy. Hello? 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 Hello?
Me amenazas, dice. Y como que te va a entender, ¿no? Man, my gun sucks. Imagine. Shit.
time is it? My class starts in a couple minutes. Hold up. There's another person, bro? Class still hasn't started well. What time is it? 54. The class hasn't even started for me. Larry texted me. He said he might be late.
Who might Larry? Larry. Larry. Okay. Alright, well, let's get started. So I've been reading the Riot Act to all my classes today, and you guys are not going to be any different. I've come to the conclusion that letting you use your icon for a whole class just does not work, okay? If I can't see your face, I don't know if you're understanding getting something. I don't know if... you know, it just really, really makes it hard to communicate. And to be truthfully honest, I also think that it's bad for our personal health, yours and mine. This is really tough times that we're going through. And I've never really put it this way before, but I think we need to see each other. We need to be seen. We're social. Humans are very social, and I'd really like to keep it that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing a participation grade. So if I call out or ask a question to everybody and I don't hear a verbal response, a thumbs up, or something in the chat, and it happens a couple times, I'm going to assume that you have turned on your icon and walked away and you are not participating. I'll either mark you as tardy and non-responsive, or if it's in the very beginning of class and I don't get any response, I'm going to start kicking you out of the class and let you log back in, and we'll deal with it that way. You know, I just can't do it the other way. All right, I tried, and I leave here at the end of the day going, this just doesn't make any sense, you know. So please keep that in mind. I think it's best for everybody, and it's not just, you know. So thank you. So today I want to review anybody that has questions about any of the past EKI kits that we've had, and I'd like to go over the next one and just kind of refresh everything. What I'm expecting is, and I'm going to put up a sample one. This was the first EKI kit that we did with the LED and the resistor. Okay, so when I grade these, I'm looking for, and I know this is a repeat, but I'm looking for a complete title that's worth the point. Let me focus this in. Okay, and there's a couple things where areas get kind of lean for people where they don't do as much as they could. Let me mark this up too. So I'm making sure that we have a complete heading, and that's worth a point. What you're testing, that should be filled in, and the pages. Okay, sometimes I get these turned in and I don't know which assignment you're doing. So make sure that you're putting that in. So those are all 1 point there. What is the purpose of the experiment? And again, the purpose of the experiment is put right in the text for you. So if you go to the green book and go to the beginning, it'll tell you purpose of this experiment. Okay. Again, a lot of these kits you guys can put together really quickly, which is fine. But it's the reason. Why are you doing it? Okay. And make sure you're using capitals at the start of this, complete sentences, periods. I tend to do all uppercase just because it's what I do from technical writing. How a resistor works. It asks you which EKI kit it is, and you just have to put in the number. Sometimes I get confused, or you put the wrong diagram in, and I'm not sure what page it's on. It makes it a lot harder for me to grade them. And they are technical experiments, which means that they should be done in a systematic way that allows everybody to understand exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it. Okay. We talked about doing the writing of or the drawing, and notice that it's, you got a long rectangle here, so that's something that you can change the shape of a circuit. Okay. The LED always has the arrows coming out of it. You can't miss those small details. Most of the components have a straight line configuration, so the resistor should be up and down. And I know doing it with a mouse is not the easiest way to do it. Okay, but work at it a little bit, or you can import the images of these components if you're using Cami. Okay. What also I've been getting short on, or not as much on here as I like, is all the components that you're testing. Okay, so the name of the parts should go here. If you run out of spaces here, just stop. Okay, I'm not going to ask you to keep testing every single battery if you've got more components. LEDs, resistors, those things should be tested. It helps for you to keep redrawing them. Okay, so I look for those, and even if you're inserting them using Cami, that's fine too. What is the reason for this part? Just to kind of refresh, keep you thinking about it. We got a power source. Something has to use the electricity, whether it's LED or sound or something like that, or whether it's a control device or a conductor. So those are all the components that are needed to make up a circuit. Over here, if you don't have this line, I think I handed out two versions of this, but what I want is you to use this tool. Okay, use that multimeter and test the components. So what's the voltage of the battery, and get in the habit of writing what you're measuring in. So if you're using the volts, you should be putting volts over here. The LED, you don't have the means to test that. There is a way to test them. But if it lights up the circuit, then we know that that's what's going on and it works, and you can put that in. And testing the ohms, this is for 100 ohm resistor, and this might be, something like 97.8 ohms, and so on. Questions? Okay. For the next question, when you're in the room, I usually have you show me the circuit before I give you the battery. Obviously, that's not possible. So when we're live like this, I want you to be able to show it to me before you plug the battery into it. If we're not live and you can't do that, you're stuck, you're going to have to take a picture of it working or functioning and upload that. If we're together, again, I'll tell you, yeah, it looks okay, and then you can test it. And I'm getting shortchanged a lot on this, okay? What did you learn from it? Okay, this circuit is not here so that you see an LED light up, okay? That's not the purpose for that circuit. The object or the results are different, okay? So a little more complete on this as well. Capitals, periods, full sentence, okay? Questions about doing the worksheets? Got it? Awesome. Okay, next component that you're going to have on the next EKI kit is going to be a capacitor. Now I need you guys to mic in. Turn your mics on.
Like leave them on?
Now leave them on for a minute or two.
Alright.
Okay. Bradley, you there? I see a chair. I don't see Bradley Allen. There you are. All right. David, are you there?
I'll just do it.
Okay. All right. So a capacitor is the next thing we're going to be testing. So, and well, I'm going to give you guys time to set this up and test it now during class. But if you have a question about a past one, bring that up. So what do we know about this capacitor?
Who is doing this?
What do we know about capacitors? What do they do? What's their function?
They hold electricity.
Okay, you're both right. They do hold electricity. Do they hold it forever?
They store it.
They store it. That's a good way to put it. You guys remember how they store it? What's the methodology? Okay. We watched a video on this, and it was a while ago, so I wouldn't, blame you if you didn't remember. But essentially, you take the electrons and you're shoving them in to on a piece of metal that's really close to another piece of metal, and you get that imbalance of the two. So you get a lot of electrons on one side that are positive, and then you get negatives on the other side. Right? So then what happens? You've got all these electrons jammed inside this capacitor. What do we know about it then? What does it do? What are we doing with all those electrons? Anybody remember the example I used? For a big a use that so the capacitors come in different sizes. And there's disc resistors and the barrel resistors and inline resistors. Okay. So if you've ever heard a car go by with a thumper base, okay, the resistors in those cars are about the size of a monster can. Okay. So what they do is in a base system like that, most cars or automobiles that have that heavy big bases, they'll put one or two batteries in the car to keep up with the amount of bass they want to do. Depends on how much thumping they want to do. and then they'll put large capacitors and an oversized alternator. The alternator adds power back into the system and charges the batteries. And as those electrons move, they all go to these capacitors, and when the base calls for a big super thump, all the energy comes out of the capacitor, and then it starts restoring the electrons again until the next thump base is needed. So as you guys said, it's a storage device, and we want to see how that works. So one of the things you're going to have to do is test these, okay? And the battery, or the capacitors have a negative side, and they're going to have, the other leg is going to be a positive side. And when you go to test these, you're going to have to add what to them? What do you need inside of them to test them?
Power.
Power, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to make sure there's no power left in this. So I'm going to go through the technique of testing these. So I'm just going to take the metal probe and I'm going to touch the two wires. So I just took the metal probe, put it on one, put it on the other. That should discharge any electrons that are in there. Okay. And once I've discharged the electrons, and I'm going to put this on here so it doesn't move around. That's the only reason I'm putting this in here, so it doesn't move around. Okay. I'm going to set my voltmeter down to ohms. And when I do that, each one of my leads on my voltmeter, each one of my leads is now putting out a little bit of electricity. So my red is putting out some voltage, and my on my negative side is waiting for the voltage to read it. So when I do that, I do have voltage, a small amount that it's waiting for. So that small amount of voltage is what I'm going to put into here. And on the negative side of the terminal, I'm going to put my negative lead, and on the positive side of my terminal, positive. Okay, so this is how you test it when it comes to the bottom of the page, and you want to test your capacitor. You're going to charge that capacitor up with electricity. All right, add those electrons in. Then I'm going to take my leads off. Okay, and I'm going to take my voltmeter and I'm going to put it down to DC volts. I'll try 20 with this one. Okay, and what are you going to look for in that meter?
Wait, I'm sorry, what'd you say again?
What do you think is going to happen when I switch? I've just charged up my capacitor, I've dumped in some electrons, and I've switched my
reading.
I switched my meter to DC. All right, so I'm going to get a reading. What am I looking for in that reading?
How much energy is stored in there?
Okay, so I'm going to touch my two leads and I'm going to see how much energy or how many volts DC I get out, right?
Yeah.
What's going to happen after I start testing it?
It'll get lower.
Okay, why do you think it's going to get lower?
Because you're using it.
Okay, who agrees with them? Because we're testing it, the voltage is going to go lower.
Me.
Okay, all right, so Larry agrees with them. Yeah, so hopefully what happens here is I put my leads back on, I'm on DC, and it can go quickly, so you gotta keep an eye on it. And, okay, it went from, so you see how it started going down, it was at 20, then went to 16, then went away.
Can you stop, please?
So let's try again. I'm going to discharge the battery. I'm going to touch the two legs of the capacitor together. All right, so I touched the two legs of the capacitor together with the wire, with my test lead here. Going to go back to ohms. hold that there, hold that there. I should charge it. And I'm going to go to milliohms this time and see how we do. And put this here. Touch the other leg. Put the neck on it. Come on. Now you should get a decreasing number. Okay.
Mine's increasing. Wait, which one do you have the meter on? Almost going up.
Make sure your decimal point's not moving up with it. I'll put it on ohms of resistance. The disc resistors do not have a positive and a negative. Okay, so that one worked well. Discharge the two. Touch the two leads. Okay. Watch the numbers. You can see how it went down to 0 fairly quickly. That way you know you have a good working capacitor. When you get the circuit assembled, if we're still live here in front of me, you can hold it up. We'll take a look at it. I'll okay it. That way you don't have to load a picture up and into the document.
Yes.
Okay, if you don't get it done right now, or you want to show me one of your past experiments or labs, go ahead and show me that, and we'll go from there. Okay, so there's about 10 minutes left in class. I want to give you guys time to work on these labs and ask questions. You get the circuit built, show me the circuit.
Okay, let's go first. I got my circuit sign.
Alright, who's got the circuit down that wants to show me? Alright. Alright, hold it still for a second, and
You see it?
just a little higher. A little higher. Alright, so your black terminal on the bottom is going into the one leg of the LED, comes from the other side. There. I thought the resistors were a little different. Let me see.
No, I don't think the resistors are in the same spots they are in the picture.
Oh, okay, no, it goes, alright, so the first leg goes there to there.
I am so unbelievably confused right now.
Okay, so take a look at the screen, Bradley.
Hang on.
This is a little confusing part on this, okay? So let me bring this up and show guys.
The thing that I'm confused about is that like I don't have most of the stuff in my thing that you have.
Oh, okay. What are you? Well, I'll have to see what you're missing. So on this one, okay, our capacitor has two legs. All right. So the negative comes in here, and then the negative jumps to here, which is also hooked to this negative leg here. Okay. And this is the confusing part right here. It's hard to see this. Okay. But take a look, guys. This is the hard part. You got this 1,000 ohm resistor, and all of these come together. The negative or the positive leg of the capacitor, 1,000 ohm resistor, and the 220 ohm resistor all have to be plugged into the same row. Okay, so make sure those three things are plugged in together. Otherwise, this is pretty apparent. Okay.
We're using the big blue one, right?
Those all get put together. These all have to be in the same row. These two are hooked together here and here. And these are over here. And this is the short leg here. So this is the confusing spot down here, in my opinion, when you look at this picture. Okay? It's the